Welcome to the channel, and thank you for joining us today for an incredible and mind-blowing journey into the hidden world of rare coins, mysterious minting errors, and unbelievable stories that prove that sometimes the smallest objects can carry the biggest surprises. Because what you are about to hear sounds like pure fantasy, yet it is built on the powerful imagination of collectors, the legends of numismatics, and the endless fascination surrounding error coins, and today's story centers on a humble 1978 one-dime USA coin that carries a face value of just 10 cents, yet is whispered in collector circles and dramatic stories as being worth up to $44 million, a number so huge it feels unreal. But the true magic lies in how such a tiny piece of metal can inspire hope, curiosity, and wonder in people all over the world. So sit back, stay with us, and let your mind open to the possibilities as we explore how a simple Roosevelt dime from 1978 could, under the rarest and most extraordinary circumstances, be imagined as one of the most valuable coins ever discussed, not because it is officially recorded at that price, but because of the legendary blend of error theories, mint mark mysteries, unusual metal compositions, die mistakes, dramatic collector demand, auction fever, rumors, stories, and the idea that somewhere out there, hidden in a drawer, pocket, or jar, a small coin might hold a life-changing secret. And as we move through this tale, remember that numismatics is not only about metal and dates but also about stories, imagination, and the thrill of discovery. Because every coin has a past, a journey, and a chance to become something extraordinary in the eyes of those who seek meaning in history and rarity. And to understand how the 1978 dime could even be imagined as a $44 million treasure, we must first look at the ordinary nature of the Roosevelt dime itself, a coin that was produced in massive numbers struck in copper, nickel-clad layers with a pure copper core, bearing the portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. And in 1978 these dimes were made at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with millions upon millions released into circulation, so common that people rarely look at them twice. Yet in the world of coin collecting, it is often among the most common coins that the rarest and strangest errors hide, waiting quietly until someone with a curious eye notices something that does not belong. And that is where this story begins, with the idea that a single dime from 1978 could have escaped the minting process in a way so unusual, so dramatic, and so mysterious that it transforms from a pocket coin into a legendary artifact of value beyond imagination. And collectors often speak of how value is not just about age or gold content, but about uniqueness, condition, historical importance, and above all, errors that should never exist. Because an error represents a moment when the perfect machinery of a mint failed, creating something that cannot be repeated, something that becomes a frozen accident in time. And in the mythology surrounding the 1978 dime, several layers of possible errors are combined into one ultimate fantasy scenario, beginning with the idea of a wrong metal planchet, where the dime might have been struck not on its normal copper-nickel blank, but on a planchet intended for another denomination, or even on a silver, experimental, or foreign metal blank. And if such a coin existed, especially if it were struck in a precious or exotic metal, its weight, sound, color, and composition would instantly mark it as something extraordinary, and collectors would compete fiercely to own it, driving its value into the realm of millions, not because of the metal alone, but because of the story it carries. And then there is the possibility of a double strike, where the coin is struck twice with misaligned dies, creating a ghostly overlapping image that looks like a mistake frozen in motion. And such dramatic errors are among the most sought after in the collecting world, because they visually represent the chaos of a machine that was meant to be perfect. And when combined with an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing or shifted, the coin becomes even more fascinating, as if it is half real and half incomplete, and collectors are drawn to this because it feels like owning a secret fragment of the mint's hidden history. And the legend grows further with the idea of a wrong mint mark, a tiny letter that tells where the coin was made. And in 1978 the dime should carry either no mint mark for Philadelphia or a D for Denver. Yet in the imagined scenario, a coin appears with a mysterious or impossible mint mark, perhaps one that belongs to another year. another coin, or even a mark that should not exist at all, and this single tiny detail becomes the spark that ignites the imagination of collectors, because a mint mark error suggests that something deeply unusual happened inside the mint, a mixing of dyes, tools, or processes that should never cross paths, and when experts examine such a piece, they would look for microscopic clues, tool marks, metal flow lines, and alignment patterns to determine whether the coin is genuine or a product of tampering. And if it passed every test, it would instantly become one of the most talked about coins in the world, with collectors, museums, and investors lining up to make offers, each hoping to be the one to own the impossible. And beyond mint marks, there is also the idea of a missing layer error, where the outer clad layer of the dime separates from the copper core, leaving one side thin, distorted, or even bare, and such coins already command high prices when confirmed. But in the extreme legend of the $44 million dime, the error is imagined as a perfect storm, combining multiple rare features in one single piece, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, something that could never be replicated even if the mint tried, and collectors are known to pay staggering amounts for coins that represent such extremes, because they are not just buying metal, they are buying a story, a symbol, a piece of mystery that connects them to a moment of chance and error in history. And as the tale continues, people begin to imagine that this dime might also carry a dramatic die crack or die break, where part of the design is raised or distorted because the die itself was damaged, and this creates a unique pattern that cannot be duplicated, acting like a fingerprint for that specific moment in time. And when combined with a rotated die, where the front and back are misaligned, the coin becomes even more unusual, turning in the hand like a puzzle that defies the standard rules of minting. And with every added layer of error, the value in the imagination of collectors multiplies, because rarity is not just about numbers, it is about how many people want something and how impossible it is to find another like it. And this is where the number 44 million becomes a symbol rather than a price, representing the ultimate dream of finding something that changes everything. And while no official auction has recorded such a value for a 1978 dime, the story lives on because people love to believe that the impossible might be possible, that a tiny coin in their pocket could be worth more than a mansion, more than a luxury car, more than a lifetime of work. And this belief keeps the hunt alive, inspiring people to check their change, search old jars, and look closely at what they once ignored. And the world of coin collecting thrives on such dreams, because even if only one person ever finds such a legendary error, millions more are drawn into the hobby by the possibility. And this is how myths become part of numismatic culture, blending real knowledge with imagination to create stories that are told and retold, each time growing more powerful. And as we explore the deeper meaning of this legend, we realize that it is not only about money, but about hope, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. Because in a world where so much feels out of reach, the idea that a simple dime could hold unimaginable value gives people a reason to look closer, to believe that surprises still exist, and